We all of us are part of a smaller group, and we meet sometimes once and twice a week. So we broke up into different groups, and Jeff, Kim, and I work together, and we each have whiteboards at home. And so none of this was done out of body; it was done intuitively.
Mm,
But and I can speak for myself with seeing Jeff's number. I immediately physically saw an eight in my mind's eye,
mm,
and then I heard the number eight. And with him, it was interesting because I thought she was going to write down a three for me. And so she ended up guessing a three first with me. And I think
yeah,
she
yeah.
got that original three from me. But then I heard a seven. And so I
Mm.
messaged her. I'm like, is it a seven? And she's
So,
like, yeah, right away.
so was this instant though when you were doing it?
Instant,
Yeah,
instant.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's telepathy right there as well.
Pretty amazing. In fact, with working with a smaller group like this, there we reach out to each other when we know the other one has thought of each other. I've
Mm.
done with this with Tasha a couple times, with Mary Lynn, Jeff.
Yeah, I
You
have
know,
too.
it's like we're starting to communicate in the
Mm.
quantum, like telepathically. But
Yeah,
anyway, I want to keep it short. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Tasha. Yes.
Hey. So Marilyn and I partnered up, and what was super interesting is that in when we connected to partner, um, we you had given us instructions, Darius, whether we would do 1 to 5 or 1 to 9.
Yeah.
And when her and I were uh, like laying the ground rules, we were choosing 1 to 9. And then I had colors come in. I was like, well, he didn't say colors. And it's like, let's keep it simple. So I kind of went no
Mm,
on the colors.
mm,
So that night, the afternoon, evening, her and I were to do meditation, intuition.
mm,
And we would work with dreams or out of body if that happened, but we did the intuition part first. And as soon as I went to go do the intuition, I immediately got two come in. It was like super fast.
yeah.
I was like, whoa, that was fast. And then I had a three and a three and a three.
Mm,
And it was like it was spaced out over time. I'm like, okay. And then I had five come in and it felt really neutral. I was like, okay. And then a nine. And then afterwards, I'm like, this is all like within seconds, this is
yeah.
happening. I'm like, what's with all the numbers?
Right.
And then I was like, how can I focus in on Mary Lynn? So I pictured her hand, and then I pictured the cards in her hand came in, and they
Mm,
were red and white, and they were unique cards. I've never seen cards like that ever in my life. They weren't like regular playing cards. They weren't any kind of card I've ever seen.
yeah.
So the next morning, her and I
Like
connected.
tarot cards and stuff. Yeah.
They were tarot cards, but they had numbers as well,
Mm.
which isn't in a regular tarot deck. So it's like literally, I could not have imagined that. I was like, wow.
Or possibly know
So I
that.
seen,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't possibly know that. So then the next morning, her and I get together. I turned over a two for her. She said to me, I turned over a five for you. Those two numbers came in, so they were
Mm,
accurate, but they were in a string.
mm,
She said to me in that evening when she was going through her she had three come in 3 times. I was
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I got that. The nine could have been that we were choosing 1 to 9. It could have been the three threes. It could have been the four, the five, and the four. I'm like, I don't know what the nine was. It was probably all of those things. Then I said to
Mm,
her, I said, I pictured um, I'd had this picture thing, and then when I was picturing it, it was a four. So then that evening, we were on a small Zoom meeting
Mm.
and we were sharing this experience. And then one of the ladies in the Zoom meeting, who's not our partner, she said, I don't know if I'm making this up or not, but when I was practicing, I immediately had in a two and then three threes come in. And I'm like, you were
E-
connecting with us.
exactly.
And
There
then
you. Yep. Okay.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
Mary
Yeah.
Lynn said, well, this is what I do when I pick the number. She picks up in the Zoom meeting, showing in her hand
Mm.
these red and white cards that were exactly the cards that I saw. They are a French, a tarot card that's unique that I've never seen before. That's like the first tarot cards made. And
Mm.
she's showing it in the Zoom meeting. And I said, Mary Lynn, you're not going to believe me, but those are the exact cards that I
Mm.
was seeing when I was trying to tune in to you picking a number for me. So that was our first experience, and it played out over 48 hours. It gets better. Every
Yeah.
day we played, something mystical, magical happened. And it was
Yeah.
like it looked like we had the numbers wrong, but it turned out it played out over. So the next one I want to share is like, I'm like, I can't believe it. We had a
Mm.
thing with 6 and 9 going backwards and forwards. She had like before we turned the cards and stuff and shared, she's like, well, if I pick a six, will it be a nine, or how will I know if it's a six or a nine?
Mm.
She had that come in. We actually ended up playing that out, that there was a 6 and a 9.
Mm.
Then the next day it came again, a 6 and a 9, and I'm like, but I had that intuition come in. I'm like, well, is it going to be a 6 or a 9?
Yeah.
So when all of that was playing out, so that played over 2 or 3 days, I had all the 9 numbers and I shuffled them and I laid them all out and I couldn't see what they were. And I'm like looking at it going, there's one missing. Like, what the heck?
Mm.
So I started turning them over, and I'm not kidding. On the one side, it went 1, 2, 3. On the next side, it said 4, 5. The missing one was a 6, which was the card that she picked. And then in the
Yes.
middle, it said 7, 8, 9. How in I'm like, I'm blown away that I could actually lay out all of those 9 in
Well,
exact order,
well,
consecutive order, with the missing one that she picked
yeah. Well,
in the
this
missing
is
place.
this is a thing that I was saying in the presentation part. You see, many people are unaware of their gifts and abilities that they have. And so they sort of brush it off. It becomes, they don't pay attention. But this is the reason why I picked the numbers, because once you start doing exactly what you did, where it's like, how could I possibly know that sequence, all those numbers? And it breaks down all the barriers of, well, wait a second, this is not a matter of, it's just coincidence. These are your abilities and your gifts. You're becoming aware of them. And now because you could see it, physically see what you do intuitively, telepathy and stuff like that. Now you could start expanding that further with this individual as well. You could start going into what I've said in the to Jeff and Amber, words, thoughts. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, so I'll keep it really short. Me and someone from Toronto, her name's Alexandra, we connected on Telegram
Yeah.
and we decided to partner up for this. We're keeping it simple. We just do 1 to 5 with index cards and we send each other a video of us flipping the card over and, showing the number.
Mm.
So at first I was trying to use like coincidences and I was, synchronicities and looking at the clock and like I think I was overthinking it. And then the last 5 days, I've been using amethyst stones and holding them and just trying to completely clear my mind and then just letting it come to me. And I've had a lot more success just trying to clear my mind and letting it come instead of trying to overthink it. So the last 3 days I've gotten them all correct and I can kind of feel myself
Mm.
getting better at it. If it doesn't really, I can't really explain the feeling. It's just kind of like an intuitive knowing. I can kind of tell and I can picture the
Mm.
card in my head. It's just kind of like comes to me in like a quick vision.
Mm.
And at first I was kind of second guessing that vision and then kind of overthinking it and then saying, oh, it's 3:33, maybe it'll be a 3,
Yeah.
and then I get it wrong. So I'd second guess, and the first thing that would come to my mind, I would get right.
Well, that's okay. That's exactly it. So this is the same thing with the outer body. When people are shutting down and leaving it, they're trying too hard. And in that trying too hard, even with this, like you're trying too hard, so you're second guessing. But when you could step back into just feeling again, because what is feeling? Feeling the emotion is you stepping back into your heart. Just the simple fact that you could feel things, you're stepping back into the heart, and then that gives you access to a lot more. So, yeah, just you
Yeah,
intuitively, it's just
it
stepping
was
back. First thing that
another
comes to
thing
mind.
was
Yeah.
the mind heart coherence. So I was really
Mm.
focusing on like opening the connection to my heart and coming from my heart instead of trying to use my brain and overthink and
Yes.
doing the masculine thing, trying to connect with that heart space. And it,
Yeah.
it ended up working. So
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely. It
awesome.
does. Yeah. Yeah. So fantastic work so far, and just keep on practicing in the group. And
Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna
yeah,
expand eventually to do 1 through 9. Right now, I'm gonna keep it 1 to 5 and try to get some more correct and
yeah.
go
It
from there.
once you hit about well, like with the 1 to 5, like once you hit about a week straight where you're just like okay, doing it correctly, then expand it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Because you want to get the realization for yourself that you could physically, it's impossible for you to have gotten those numbers so frequently, and then the trust in yourself is a lot greater, and therefore your abilities actually are a lot greater as well, because a lot of this comes down to trust and belief in oneself again. Yeah. So
Yeah, like I said, I can kind of feel the change and kind of understand what it feels like to get it right. It's almost like
yeah,
it just kind of comes instead of forcing it, like just like you said.
yeah.
But the second night was with a friend, Michelle. I'm in the Sunshine Coast hinterlands, and she's in Sydney. Um, and I actually saw Michelle smiling and like playfully laying out the numbers on her bed. I thought it was the kitchen at first, but what I'd actually done, because I wasn't sure if she'd remember, I'd I have numbers 1 to 9 in my kitchen, and I'd turned over a number before I went to bed. Um, so when I asked her the next day, she said she was playing with the numbers, but she was on her bed.
Mm.
And I'd chosen the number 1, and but she hadn't. She'd chosen a different number. But when I went into the kitchen, the number 1 was there, so it was the one that I'd actually turned over. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
Another night, she she'd forgotten to turn the number, and I turned the number 5, and my friend John came in and he turned over a number, and that was the number 5.
Yeah.
Um, and then I each night, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's so
Um,
good.
she turned over the number 4, and then I'd seen her turning over this number, but then she wanted to change her mind
Mm.
and said that she had actually done that. So I was seeing this the night before. I was doing it by meditation,
Yep.
um, and seeing her doing it the next day, and then she had to do
That's you. That wasn't the present, that was future. So you're tapping into through
that was
meditation. Yeah.
yeah, that one was, and
Yeah.
then she couldn't do it the next day, and I asked another friend,
Mm.
and and then when I rang, she says, "Oh, I haven't done it yet,
Yeah.
but I can do it now." And I gave her I'd chosen her number as
Mm.
being the number 3, and she came up with the number 3. So she did it whilst I was there, but she hadn't chosen it previously. She just chose it when I was there.
that's good work so far. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're doing present stuff and future just through intuition and meditation as well. So yes,
Yeah, and then the last one, Michelle came back and she says, "Oh, I found my numbers again.
yeah,
Do you want? I've chosen one for you." And I said, "Oh, it's really about me seeing into the future."
mm,
And I said, "Okay, but I'll just have a guess. I'll guess it's a number three." And she said, "Yeah, it was a number three." So we
yes.
got that one right. So
Even in your guessing. So what? All right. So typically when you play a guessing game, you don't overthink things. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna guess. And I like when you say those things, you're automatically stepping into the place of just the first thing that comes to mind. Oh, I'm gonna get three. That's what the first thing that came to your mind. So like for people as well that are overthinking it, maybe go into the energy field of you're gonna play a guessing game instead because that's perfect what you just said as well. Yeah,
mm, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it what I find it interesting though, Darius, is the more that I'm doing this, like I didn't realize that I'd actually got the 8 out of the 10 right. And the two that I didn't were reasons, but the more that I'm doing and getting right, the more that I'm questioning myself, which it should be the other way around.
Well, this is where okay. This is where you just need to keep on practicing because it should get to a certain point, like the out of body. When you come out of body and you could see things real time, that takes away the questioning for you. So if you still have questions around this, just keep on practicing until it is literally impossible for you to deny yourself your abilities anymore. Yes?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that point, then you go into more things. Even with this individual that you're working with, if you want to, and do so cautiously. But if you want to, you could start to um, tapping into her signature, and then start to feel if she's feeling a certain way, or if she's doing something in the kitchen, in the bedroom, or driving, and just give her a call or him or her, whoever you're doing with, give a call. Are you thinking this? Are you doing this? Test yourself as well, because the the greatest killer of these abilities is to deny and make yourself disbelieve that you are not doing them already. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hmm. I did actually see her, and when she was doing the number, I could see her on the bed. I could see her. The other time I saw her, and there was a small animal like a dog or a cat had
Mm.
jumped on the bed, and it had.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been a perfect thing just to go, oh, did this just happen? And then her giving you the confirmation, like, I understand that that's impossible for you to know those things unless you are physically there. So
Mm, mm. And the one
don't
that
doubt yourself. Yeah.
the one that I got wrong, I'd actually seen um, a little girl. No, I'd seen a little girl, which was her. She's a dark skinned girl
Mm,
in plaits, and there was someone like a grandfather figure,
mm,
and he had how I saw this number. It was like I thought it was a roulette wheel or or a spinning top or something, and he was looking at her when she was smaller,
mm.
and he looked at her with this love. Anyway, she came back and she said that he used to have a clock shop, and I'd actually seen the clock, not the roulette wheel.
Mm.
And she said, you know, the number isn't right, but it's really there's a meaning in there for me that's really clear that I need to go and do.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So on that one, yeah.
Yes, that's perfect.
Hi guys. So I partnered up with Lova. She's also done some testimonies on some of the workshops. Excuse me, I've been battling a cold, so hopefully I'm
Yeah.
sound okay. But um, and so just to set it up a little bit, we both had our numbers from the previous target workshop, the 1 through 9 cards. So we just went straight into doing the numbers 1 through 9. And um, we would do it such that we would do the meditation, but every day we had intentions of trying to get out of body as well. So we would come up with a number during the day that we would share, say like, okay, I think tomorrow you're going to pick this. She'd say, I think tomorrow you're going to pick this. And then the next day we would actually do the number picking and see if we had had any out of body experiences. And so right off the bat, the first day, she didn't get the number right that day, but she got the number, like the number that she picked actually was the number that I chose the second day. So I think she was just, the first day was really just her projecting farther in the future
Yeah.
than we actually were doing, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's um and then the only days that we would not get the numbers, and I'm telling you, this happened every day. It's just, it blows your mind when
Yes.
you're witnessing it. I just can't even believe how right it just doesn't make sense. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Like every day, two people are picking a number that the other person is going to pick the next day and getting it right. And then
Yeah.
the
So
only
well,
day.
this is the thing. So now it's you're realizing it. So if you could do it with numbers, now the thing should start to switch. Okay, well, what else could I do this with? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the only days that we got it wrong, we actually had both come up with the same number that one of us would have picked. So it would have been maybe like I had picked, we both thought it was going to be the number 3, and then she would turn over the number 3 and I would turn over something else, or whatever. Like it would
Yeah.
still coordinate with one another. And I thought the odds were even higher for us to both, out of 1 through 9, both of us come up with the same number and one of us even turn over that card. That's just crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
So about halfway through, and this was in a meditation, and generally when I have the out of body experiences, it's very rarely do I go straight from meditation to an out of body experience. So this was unique for me. I mean, I've only done it maybe 3 times, and all of the times I've been out of body like that,
Mm.
been like fully wide awake and go in. And it happened very differently. I think I'm interpreting it as getting help from somebody. But anyway, while I was meditating, I saw an eye, like a physical eye, appear in front of my closed eyes. I had a mask on. And
Mm.
as the eye pulled away, I was drawn out of body. I just went with it. And I said, oh, she's helping me. I don't know who she is. I
Yeah.
said,
Okay.
oh, she's helping me out. But it was a very short trip. And I was put, as I opened my eyes to just watch, because I love watching when I'm being taken someplace. I love to watch the colors and the
Mm.
things passing by. So I had opened my eyes. And as soon as I opened my eyes, I was set down on the floor. And the first thing I noticed was the color of the wall, which wasn't like and I've gotten used to what my house looks like out of body. It does change a little bit from time to time, but it's generally similar.
Yeah, 'cause that's all based off dimensional space stuff. Yeah. 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 I.
Right. So when I noticed the color of the wall and the texture of the wall to be very different, I thought, oh wait, because I was like, okay, I have so much I want to do. Like, stay focused, don't get distracted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then I saw the color of the wall, and it also had these slats in it, and I thought, that's odd. Maybe I need to look around and see where I am.
Mm.
And I noticed the clothing hanging like as in a department store off of the wall. And I thought, that's odd. And then when I turned around, a dog that I've had visit me, a dog that had passed a few years ago, had come up, and I was like, oh well, I have to at least say hello to her, that
Mm.
she's visiting me in the out of body. So I did that, and when I did that, I saw there were 2 other dogs laying on the floor, and then as soon as I acknowledged those dogs, actually, I thought I knew one of the dogs, and I was going to say that dog's name, and
Mm.
a different name came out. Like, and I thought, oh, that's an odd thing. Why did I just call that dog that name?
Yeah.
And the other dog I didn't know at all. And then the experience was over. So it was a very quick experience. But then when I had explained to her that I'd had this experience in her bedroom, her walls have the slats on it. It's not the same color. It was a little bit different color, but still it was a darker wall. And she has clothes hanging off of her wall, just like in a department store. And she has two dogs that have the exact color markings
Yes.
that I had said, that one dog has these three colors and one dog has these, all of that. It just, I didn't have any number associated with that.
No, no, no.
But
That's fine because what's going on here is absolutely perfect. So when you are training with somebody, as soon as you make the commitment to train with somebody, automatically your fields are very much in sync. So you now coming out of body because the field is so much in sync. Now you're automatically projecting yourself right into her space. And once you're in her space, you're able to see her space and also her dog. Yes.
yeah, both of her
Yeah.
dogs. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is just a seamless transition to intuitive stuff, connecting with the field, to out of body, physically being there. It's yeah. So everything that you're
It,
doing
it,
is perfect. Yeah.
yeah. It just really just blew my mind. I could not believe she had the things in her room that I saw. I haven't
Yeah.
had an experience like that.
Yeah.
I did want
It's shocking
to
almost.
to
It's shocking.
mention it
It's like
is.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
can't be real. It's more than shocking. Like
Yeah.
this is happening to me. So like I know firsthand.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me this and I'm believing it. This
Yeah.
happened to me. Like
Yeah.
I can't deny that. That thank you. Thank you
Yep.
so much. Thank you
Okay.
so much for everything that you guys do, really.
I did protocol one, and I did,
Hmm.
but I kept repeating to myself, I want to see visually, I want to see it definitively a number,
Yep.
the future number that my friend Cheryl's going to pick. I kept saying this, and I did. After a while, I got this extremely clear vision. It was like through a tube and had the number 0151.
Hmm.
It was kind of I asked her to pick in the future a card 1 through 5. So this had 0115.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of in a triangle shape, had kind of like little hydroglyphs at the bottom of it, but the 15 was obvious. And later on, I saw another number, another vision, the same triangle, little simpler hieroglyphics, but no number in it. Okay, then I
Yeah.
called my friend the next day. Hey, did you pick a number? No, I forgot. Well,
Got
pick
it.
one now. I said, well, I got a tarot deck here. It has some numbers on it. I'll just pick. And she picks it, and it has number 4 on it.
Hmm.
Or I'm thinking, I'm kind of bummed out. So I said, send me a picture of that card. She sends me a picture of the card. The card was in Roman numerals 4, which is an I and a V, which is a 1 and a 5.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
consider that a success.
Yes. Yeah.